minute since we've been working in the garage here. Big problem I've always had here was kind of lack of organization. You got multiple people in here working, doing stuff, putting stuff places. And we've had this place for 25 years now. There's just been an accumulation of what we'll call, the politically correct term, stuff over these 25 years. And it's just managed to pile up and not have any sort of organization. So we're fixing that today. My friends at FLEXIMOUNTS sent me a few different items to help organize this mess. I don't know if we're gonna get to over there. We're gonna be starting over yonder in this area, trying to sort through some of the stuff. Some of the stuff was here when the place was purchased. Never even gone through it. So maybe we'll make it through there, and we're just gonna be doing some organizing today. So organizing equals efficiency. That's a big thing for me. When you know where stuff is, you don't have to spend time looking for it. Just don't waste your time. You can spend your time doing other things more important than looking for stuff that you need. So we're gonna be going through some stuff today. I'm gonna show you guys these FLEXIMOUNT storage shelves and different things that they've provided me to organize this stuff. And maybe show you some cool stuff we find along the way. If not, maybe we'll toss some stuff. Maybe we'll box some stuff up. Maybe we'll let you guys buy some stuff. Who knows? So we're gonna kind of, like I said, start over there. This animal back there, probably not gonna get to that today. But if we can get a solid portion that's knocked out today, that'd be huge. So we're, I guess, gonna start by high level, seeing what we have over there, and then doing some unboxing of the FLEXIMOUNT stuff, and get sorting, I guess. So here's the 3 different mounts that we're gonna be using. This is the FLEXIMOUNTS GL1. This is our ceiling mount. This is super nice because you have a ton of space up in your ceiling that's not used, that's completely out of the way, whereas a standing shelf, like the one we'll talk about in a little bit, takes up a bunch of floor space. So this is nice. Going to be able to utilize some of this overhead storage that is not currently doing anything. We also have 2 of these WR26 wall mounts. So these will screw to the studs in the wall. Haven't figured out exactly where we're going to put these yet, but we got 2 of those. These are 6 foot wide, 2 foot deep. This is 4x4, so we can fit a ton of stuff on there. Weight capacity of this is 300 pounds. I believe these are 800 pounds total, so between 2 shelves, split that up, do the math, divide by 10. And then we have our standing shelves here. So these are 4 foot wide, 2 foot deep, 72 inches tall. So we can put a bunch of stuff on this as well. Obviously, like I said, these do take up a lot more space than these models over here. So we got a space for one of those we're gonna figure out, and then we're just gonna start moving some stuff. So one of these, we're gonna unpack it. It's gonna go over here against this mount, or this wall. And if this doesn't look familiar for you, this used to be a garage door. This was recently redone, and this is our access to where we got the lift and other stuff down there. So this is makes a lot more sense than having that overhead door that was there previously. So nice addition there. We're gonna get with our standing shelf first, unbox that, set it up, start putting some stuff there. Maybe go through some of this stuff. Also, you guys might remember Hampton the cat. He got a couple new friends. This is Finn. And then his brother Denali over here. Some scumbag abandoned them in a park and couldn't just leave them there. So they're really good cats. Hampton likes having some friends. Great additions. Probably some of the best additions we've had out here. All right, I kind of just dumped everything out on the ground, but they even give you a hammer for assembling this thing. Pretty nice. And pair of gloves too, absolutely required here in Michigan for the cold. So we're gonna get to putting this thing together, get it stood up. If you did desire, you could link these 2 together to make a 8 foot wide. However, we don't really necessarily have the space to link 2 of them together. So this one will end up who knows where. We'll put our brain power to that and get that figured out. But for now, we'll work on getting this one set up. All right, we got our base level of the shelf done. So we're gonna do some cleaning over yonder and then move this over there. I think I'll do final assembly over there just so we're not navigating a 72-inch tall shelf. Just build it against its final location. All right, shelf is in its, well, permanent location, we'll call it. So we're gonna put our second row on, and then once the second row's on, we can attach our next flight of these vertical pieces and then put our remaining shelves together. So there's also some brackets that you can use to screw this back portion to a wall. So it's a little bit more stable, maybe we'll do that just for security's sake. Fasten it down there. But other than that, once this is up, we can start loading this thing up with some stuff, maybe putting some stuff in some totes and doing some organizing. But that's going to be a good fit here, better than a bunch of stuff just laying on the ground. Well, it might not look like it, but we got serious progress going on here. So that's just a trash bag we've loaded up with some stuff. This is a bolt bin. We don't really know what we're going to do with it just yet. Oh, man, we got some parts there. Those are going to go on the shelves. These things are pretty solid, honestly. So I've got that little bracket right there on both sides screwed in the plywood. That gives it some stability. So I like that that was included by FLEXIMOUNTS. And yeah, we just kind of started filling this up. But we're going to go on to our next area. Not really sure where that's going to be just yet. It might be our GL1. We're gonna move the X3 out of the way and back the Camaro up, and I think it's gonna mount right up in this vicinity here. So that'll be nice, because if there's a car in the way or something, we can just back it out if we need to get anything from up above, and it's just a good place for it. It's gonna utilize, like I said, a bunch of just wasted space up there. What do you think? I agree. Well, it's not perfect, but huge improvement over here. Look at how much space you got to walk through here. Got all the junk that was staying right there moved out of the way. There was a shelf right there. We got that moved over there. Flex mount shelf, looking great. Holding a ton of stuff. Gonna put another one up over yonder. So there's supposedly a bunch of stuff that is garage sale worthy over there. So I'm excited for that. We got this bolt bin that's just sitting up over there instead of laying on the ground. We used to have that sitting on the concrete right here when the overhead garage door was right there. So we had to find a better spot for that. Now we got all of our fasteners, been basically one centralized location. So this shelf's holding up really good. Looks good, went together simple. We're gonna go put another one up. Got the side-by-side out of the way, got the lawnmower out of the way. I guess we're gonna try and tackle all this stuff. Hey, there's the Cushman. We got that running a couple years ago now. Maybe it still runs. Maybe we'll find out someday. Or not. Progress. We got a lot of stuff for sale over here. We got to go through that. This area is kind of cleaned out. Got our standing shelf up, and we've got our wall mounted shelves laying down here. So these are going to be we got 2 6-foot long shelves. One's going to be mounted on this wall, and then we'll mount one over here. They give you an installation template with this. It's got an integrated level into it. That's pretty nice. So you get a shelf that doesn't dump your stuff off of it. That's cool. So we just got to well, pilot drill some holes for these lag screws that they give you. They give you a ton of nice fasteners. They give you stuff. If you're going to be installing it in wood, obviously you just use the lags. And then if you're installing it into cement, they've got these plastic inserts that after you pre-drill the block, you put those in, and then you just fasten the shelves up. So it should go pretty smooth. We'll get the one up and see how it looks. All right, so our one on the wood wall turned out very good. So one thing to keep in mind, guys, is the template. Where'd that go? It gives you a template for various widths of studs, so 16, 18, and 24. So this wall is built on 24s, so you can see how the brackets are oriented for this application in the instructions. It just shows you setting them up for the wider stud width. So if you do have walls that are on 24-inch centers, just orient the brackets like this. Show you one more time, and you'll be all set. Otherwise, your brackets would be wider than the wire shelves itself. So turned out good. It was strong. I was hanging on to those to do a little test, and yeah, it held up really good. So on to the cement wall now. So we've got these anchors that are going to go into the block, so we got a pre-drill for those, and then going to be basically the same thing. Also, one thing to note is they do give you these Velcro straps to tie the wire to the shelf itself, so locks it in there nice and tight so the wire can't come off. Super nice so far. Big fan of the template. I'm not super good when it comes to drilling, fasteners at least. So the template really helps. Kind of the guy that measure once, cut 4 times. So the template definitely helps. So onto this block wall. Hopefully this is up in no time, and then can start moving some stuff in here, and then we can work on getting that GL1 put up over there, that 4x4 that's going to mount to the ceiling. Reason this one went way smoother, so I'm going to recommend you use a hammer drill for this. Corded hammer drill is crucial. Check this unit out. Not sponsored by Hilti, but if I was, wouldn't be too mad about that. Just saying, that thing's a beast. I started off with a cordless one, and she just wasn't chooching enough. I had this thing done, I mean, 15 minutes, I think. I mean, this thing just blew by. This was super easy. Template worked great. Take a look. Yeah, we're up in business. Look at that. Boom, 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 boom. Strapped in. Ain't going nowhere. I'm not quite sure what we're going to put on that just yet, but I'm sure we'll figure out something that can go there. So got to move some stuff around and maybe do some organizing, figure out what we need to sell. Then I got to move this car out of the way right there, back that up a little bit, and then we're going to get working on this GL1. So that's going to be an interesting one. I'm excited for that. That overhead storage thing, game changer. So let me get some stuff moved around, and then we'll get working on that. All right, here's our final product over here. For now, at least, we got a bunch of stuff that has to get garage sale or get going somehow. But got that shelf filled up pretty well. Got some stuff on this wall shelf, some stuff on that wall shelf. Do have a porta power up there, which weighs quite a bit, and that shelf's doing a solid job holding that. So heavy duty stuff right there. We got the GL1 ceiling mount here. Gonna do some unboxing on this, but bunch of components. I was just briefly reading through the instructions. Again, they provide another template, which makes this super easy to install for any of this stuff. So very happy to see that. I'm gonna take this stuff out of the package and see what all we got in here. We got everything laid out. So here's the template that I was referring to. Installation on this is going to be a little bit easier because all of our joists are exposed, so we don't have any drywall or anything covering it up. So it's going to be a little bit more flexible doing it this way. We got a couple brackets here for mounting the axle, as they call it, right here. And then we have a couple pulley brackets right there. Those are going to go on that side over there. Our axle / crank is going to go right up here. And then the other brackets are going to go down there. They give you some tape somewhere right there to tape up the template to the ceiling. So that'll be nice. I'm going to work on that right now. But you can kind of see how this is going to lay out. This is going to go up there. The brackets are going to go over there with the pulleys on them. The wires will run over there. Going to be all tied in. We've got our crank right there. That's going to go up to that. And yeah, I'm going to be solo mission in this, so I'll let you know how it is. Might be a little difficult to navigate some of this stuff, but we'll get through it. I got the 4 brackets installed. For the template, I ended up finding it easier to screw this into the joists with some wood screws and washers just because, well, tape wasn't sticking super good to the wood. So wood screws and some washers held it up there. Next thing we got to do, let's put our axle assembly up there, and that just kind of telescopes out like that to meet our width. And then we got to run these pulley cables to their corresponding locations, and should be hopefully wrapping this up pretty soon. Well, we got it all wrapped up, so we've got our mesh attached to these rails. The rails attached to these fasteners here, which attach to our wires. ties in super nice. So you got to make sure that you have all this stuff clocked correctly so that the wires aren't tangled up. We're good there. And they give you this crank here to raise and lower this thing. So they recommend that you have some weight on this thing, kind of to make sure that none of the wires get all tangled up there. Kind of keeps everything taut. But yeah, they give you this crank right here, which is nice. Or if you're like me and have power tools, take your impact with 8mm socket on it. Well, there it be. So ended up running it back down and putting the rear paddles from the Rex 3 up there as well. So it worked super good. I ended up using my cordless ratchet instead of that impact just because, well, it didn't sound super good using that impact on it. So the ratchet worked basically just as well and sounded a lot better. So I would use a cordless ratchet if you decide to not use the hand crank. But this thing is super nice. And it saves a lot of space, so it can actually get over back here where I had these paddles before. So this has it's been a good 2 days of organizing stuff. So you can see our one shelf right there. There's a GL1 right there, wall shelf over there, Hampton right there, and another shelf right there. So tons more space here. Obviously, this is a lot of stuff that has to go, but this was a great start on this project, so super happy with how this turned out. Well, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Comment below which one of the storage mechanisms you like the best, the wall mount, the standing shelves, or the GL1 that mounts on the ceiling. Let me know what you think, which one would work best in your garage. And don't forget, if you're interested in purchasing any of these storage solutions from FLEXIMOUNTS,